Today we are unloading some big info drops, and by we, I mean me. I usually talk about myself in the plural, but hey, we are existing in a quantum reality, so of course, I'm talking about the collective here. So today is going to be, how do I put this? The unpopular opinion. So you might feel really triggered with the information in this video, and I just want to say that's totally okay. As always, take the information or leave it. It's totally up to you what you want to do with it. Ultimately, my goal or my intention is always to give you information that's going to take you to the next vibrational level, but also information that's going to keep you in the know of what's happening on planet Earth at this time. For those of you who are brand new to my channel, welcome. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and like this video if you do actually like it. And beyond that, I just want to mention to all of the new people, I receive my information from channeling. And when I mean channeling, I mean deep states of trance meditation and remote viewing. I also go to different galactic organizations and receive information from them. So I do not do any external research. So I don't get this from books. I don't get this from other, I don't know, channelers, insiders, ex-military officials. I have no idea what the rhetoric is out there. So once again, maybe you've heard this before, probably this information today is going to be brand new. Like I said, it might be triggering, and I understand why it would be triggering, and that's going to be more so towards the end of the video of why this would be triggering in relation to a human hybrid project and essentially like our role in it, but then also the interdimensional role in it as well. I do have all of my notes. I usually write down all of my notes on a notebook, but my notebook is currently packed. We are actually packing right now on our way to the East Coast, or the East area, I should say. And so I wrote all of my notes down on my computer. So when you see me looking this way, it means I'm actually just reading my notes from my computer. And the reason why I have to write down notes is because it is a lot of information, and I have to organize my thoughts and all of my channeling over the past, 12 years now? Since 2010, 2011, I've been receiving this information in particular about the Human Hybrid Project and the future of extraterrestrials and cosmic disclosure here on planet Earth. All right, so before we deep dive into all of the information, and it's a lot today, I just want to say thank you for being here. And I do have monthly summits where I connect with extraterrestrial beings, and they give us information on what's going on planet Earth, and then also information on how to activate our DNA for the highest good. So if you're interested in that, check out the Galactic Federation summits. If you're interested in deep diving into more content, not just what's on YouTube, I have thousands of videos on my membership platform, which is called the Cosmic Society. You can actually sign up for free and gain access to, I want to say, hundreds of videos for free as a seeker. So keep that in mind. And then of course we have our community on there as well of like-minded starseeds from all over the world. And what else? I feel like there was one more thing. Oh yeah, and if you guys want any like personal updates on my life or like really interesting alien and spiritual memes, I do post on my Instagram. I don't mention it often, but it is at elizabeth.april, and that's where you're going to find more of my personal life in my stories, and then different funny memes. And then also we're having daily video download drops as well if you're interested in short form content. Cool. So let's get started. I want to talk about now I've moved my notes right in front of me. I want to talk about a timeline of disclosure. Now, this timeline of disclosure was given to me back in 2011 when I first made contact with extraterrestrial beings, and this was in a deep state of meditation where it was a Pleiadian being who actually literally entered into my room and invited me to a meeting, and during this meeting they were talking about cosmic disclosure for planet Earth. Okay, So there are three sort of stages of cosmic disclosure, and thank you, Nicole, for that super chat. The first stage is an increase in real activity, specifically targeting starseeds for amplification. And I'm going to explain a little bit of what this means. So I mentioned real activity, and the reason why I mentioned real activity is because there are false flag events that are occurring on planet Earth for a variety of reasons. But once again, I want to mention the first stage of disclosure is an increase in real activity, specifically targeting starseeds. Starseeds is just a term for old souls or souls who are originally off planet and they decided to volunteer to come onto this planet in order to help humanity advance and progress and move forward. Most likely, if you found yourself on my channel and you're vibing with my stuff, you are a starseed, so welcome. And the reason why disclosure, whether it be seeing a UFO in the sky, or maybe watching a video that activates something in you, or maybe it's some sort of really vivid dream that you have, the reason why disclosure is going to be targeting starseeds in particular is because it's not going to be as shocking for you. And what happens is when a starseed, when a galactic volunteer encounters disclosure, there's something in them that is activated. I believe that it's that dormant DNA that's activated. And when a starseed is activated through disclosure, it amplifies the frequency for the rest of the world. So one starseed could activate maybe 50, 70, actually, years ago, I channeled how many individuals a starseed activates per year, and what I channeled was around 72,000. And that was back in 2014 that I channeled that, and I'm sure that it's way, way more these days just because the energy is so much more active. So once again, starseeds have the ability to get activated through cosmic disclosure and then amplify that activation for everyone else all around them. So that's why in particular starseeds are getting disclosure first, is because it's a knowing, it's a deep knowing. It's nothing new for them, even though it can still be shocking. Okay, the second phase of disclosure is an increase in false flag events to confuse and distract the masses. Okay? I also want to mention that there is going to be, and there already has been, a purposeful release of Project Bluebeam. If you don't already know what Project Bluebeam is, essentially it is a false flag alien invasion agenda that the shadow governments have. Now, what I've channeled before is that there is going to be, and I believe there already has been, a purposeful release of Project Bluebeam. And the reason why it's purposeful and they want to alert as many people as possible to this agenda is because it will force us to question any and all cosmic event and activities moving forward, which means that even the people who are in the know, who maybe see something in the sky, maybe will just slough it off as some sort of Project Bluebeam, and we don't actually believe that aliens or UFOs are real or out there. So it's a very purposeful sort of semi-disclosure of a false flag event. And it doesn't mean that all UFO sightings are real, and it also doesn't mean that all UFO sightings are agendas used to distract. But they're both occurring simultaneously, which once again can be quite confusing. The third stage of disclosure is that both the real disclosures, the real activity, and the false flag activity will culminate to help people actualize ET life into their reality. So essentially the third stage is there is enough activity, there's enough disclosure, there's enough talk about this, within mass media, within politics, within smaller groups, to really help people understand that there is something beyond just this planet, and that really actualizes that existence into their reality, which is important for where we're going, which is going to be the triggery part here at the end. Okay, so what I was told from this organization called the Galactic Federation back in 2011, when I first met them, they gave me a little bit of a timeline here. And the timeline that they gave me, and from what I know right now, we're still on track for this timeline. They mentioned that by 2030, and trust me, in 2011, I couldn't even fathom what 2030 would even look like, but here we are, 2023. 2030. The belief of aliens and UFOs has been readily accepted as reality based on whistleblowers and undisputed evidence. And then there will be a small group of people that will still deny, but it will be accepted by the majority. Okay, so once again, timeline wise, 2030, fingers crossed, the majority of the population on planet Earth will be accepting that there is something else out there. Maybe we don't have all the answers, but UFOs are real and we have no idea who's manning those crafts, but hey. And I think right now in 2023, we are well on our way to getting to a place where we've got that mass acceptance. And like I said, there's always going to be that small, hopefully minority that still doesn't believe it or still thinks that it's, maybe some sort of agenda or what have you. Okay. So between 2030 and 2050, there is going to be more contact and more disclosure, but based in physical reality. Now, what I mean by that is, okay, a really great example is literally just a couple weeks ago, there was a crazy thing that happened in Las Vegas, which basically, like a cop cam caught like some sort of blue streak in the sky, and then shortly after that blue streak was captured by the cop camera and the cop themselves saw it. There was a call, a 911 call, and a bunch of people were really freaked out and said that there were really tall, 8 to 9 tall beings in their backyard. And then the cops went to go check it out. And the only reason why the cops went to check it out was because they saw that blue streak themselves. So I know there's a lot of people saying that it's fake or it was some sort of staged event. And of course, it's good to be questioning things. For me, it resonates that it was a real event, but that's just my take on it. And I think it's the culmination of the cop camera catching it, the 911 call, and the really authentic shock from the people trying to describe this creature in their backyard. So once again, between 2030 and 2050, we are going to have more and more of these one-on-one contact experiences. And like I said, in physical reality. Now, I'm not saying that UFOs are not in our physical reality, but I'm talking about like actual alien beings on planet Earth, either being captured by camera or experienced by individuals and whatnot. So there's going to be really real contact. Can I say that there's going to be one major event that's going to change everyone's mind? I'm not sure. I was never told about maybe just one event like that. I would love for there to be one major event that happens, but unfortunately, an event like that could potentially divide people across the planet more so than unify. And maybe that's why that's not necessarily the number one timeline in our future. But like I said, anything can happen. Okay, so let's talk about the hybrid project. Now, this is where things get a little bit triggery for some people. And like I mentioned, please take it or leave it. Now, the first original hybrid project for planet Earth, and if you think about how wide and how expansive the universe is, there are so many different interdimensional beings out there. There are so many different vibrational or dimensional levels to this universe. So anything that you could even imagine being an alien probably exists out there. Like, it's quite expansive. So when I talk about genetic experiments or a hybrid experiment, there have been many, 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 many hybrid experiments across the universe, across the solar system for an extremely long period of time. Human beings are by far not the first hybrid experiment out there. As a matter of fact, the reason why we are so successful is because we are backing on all of the experimentation that has happened before us, which has allowed something like us to exist. And I think the reason why human beings as a hybrid experiment is so unprecedented and so unique is because we are a combination of such a variety of different interdimensional beings rather than just a combination of two. The majority of the genetic experiments out there in the universe prior to us was really just combining one or two or maybe three different genetic species. And for us, I believe we have over 20 different interdimensional species DNA within us. And I believe that a large majority of our junk DNA that is inactive, that apparently is junk, is actually a part of that interdimensional DNA. And that's the missing link. That's just what I believe. So we are kind of the original hybrid project for planet Earth. For a variety of reasons. The number one reason, and I have many other videos talking about this, and I talk about this in lectures often. This is kind of the main, let's say the main prophecy for planet Earth and the main download or piece of information that I was given initially by the organization, the Galactic Federation. And essentially the reason why we were even created to begin with, apart from mining from gold, apart from kind of the small reasons we were created, but the bigger picture is that we are essentially a peace treaty for the universe. So we have some of the lowest vibrational DNA within us in the universe, and likewise we have some of the highest vibrational DNA within us in the universe. And by being this kind of a mutt of a child between all of these different interdimensional races, we are given the opportunity to express the genomes or the DNA that align with our vibration. So we're kind of given all of the tools in our toolbox, and then we're given free will. Now, I will say that our free will has been slightly, just ever so slightly manipulated. Eye roll, it's been very manipulated over the years to really be expressing the lowest vibrational DNA, which is the fight or flight mechanisms, right? So what we're in the middle of right now, we're in the middle of a giant battle. A battle for consciousness, a battle for our own free will, a battle really truly for freedom, a battle to free our minds, to free our consciousness, to make a conscious choice for what DNA we want to be expressing. Do we want to be expressing the lowest, the fight or flight frequency, the survival, the fear frequency, or do we want to be expressing that unconditional, that high vibrational love frequency, which sounds so woo-woo, but in retrospect, it allows us to do things like tap into universal source consciousness. It allows us to do things like regrow our limbs. It allows us to do things like even defy the laws of physics, like levitate, or tap into past, tap into the future, right? That higher frequency and that DNA activation allow us to do things like never get sick again, right? Or reverse the signs of aging. It allows us to take our cells and to move them into any place we want in the body. You know, if you're lacking vitamin D, you can say, hey, body, make some more vitamin D, right? So it allows us to be in full control over our biological selves and then our external reality. And this is where we're at right now. We are in the middle of this battle for freedom, for free will, and for conscious expression, which is essentially our DNA expression. So we are the, epitome of a hybrid project. But there's another hybrid project that I rarely talk about that is continuously unfolding on planet Earth and that we will see unfolding in our future. Now, we have to get to a place where we are in full disclosure before we get to this place of the next level of the hybrid project. And when I have talked about this hybrid project before, I have gotten a lot of pushback. So I'm already anticipating some pushback for this video and for talking about this next hybrid project. Okay. So phase 2 of human hybridization. We are phase 1. A lot of people think that, it's really cool, express the genes, make the choice, raise your vibration, all of that great stuff. But there's actually like another level of our hybridization. And this is going to come into play with, okay, I'm just going to read my notes so I can say it in the right order. For many years, galactic organizations have been working on human hybrids in order to evolve us even further. They landed on half gray, half human hybrids, which are actually called the Essassani or the Sassani beings. And essentially, this is the easiest next step due to our genetics aligning more easily than other hybrids. So there's many other hybrids. There's Pleiadian human hybrids. There's Arcturian human hybrids. There's so many other different kinds of hybrids that do exist out there. But the main hybridization that we're going into is half gray, half human hybrids. And when I say gray, I'm talking about the sometimes tall, sometimes short, gray skin, big black eyes. Now, we also have to realize that there are many, like I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of gray subspecies. So the species of gray that I'm specifically talking about are the ones that are service to others. There are a lot of low vibrational grays out there. There are a lot of grays who are greedy and trying to essentially, biological warfare and like other things. But I'm talking about the good ones who are working with the Galactic Federation on this next hybrid project. So why, you might ask, why would we need to advance the human race even further? And the reason why is, we were never meant to stop just at where we are right now. But in order for us to advance further, we need to choose the highest vibration. We need to choose love, and we need to be expressing that those highest DNA strands. The garbage truck is right on cue. Okay, so I do want to mention that a large majority of abductions have been due to this project, along with a large majority of women who have been having either ghost pregnancies or false pregnancies. And if you want a really good resource on actually human hybrids and hybrid mothers, you want to check out, oh my goodness, what is her name? Yep, totally blanking. You guys know what her name is. Bridget Nielsen. She has a YouTube channel, so check her out. She maybe doesn't have like the exact same description of what I'm talking about here, but she's a really good example of a hybrid mother. And I think that the abductions is where people get really triggered by this, okay? This is where I've had a lot of pushback on just describing this agenda, and even when I say agenda, it sounds like a bad thing, but it's not. And I'll explain why this is not a bad thing. But the reason why I get pushback and why people get triggered when I talk about the next phase of human hybridization is because they believe that these abductions are going against their free will. And what I have to say is that there is no such thing as an abduction going against your free will. I truly believe that we pre-assign in our blueprints and our contracts, before we even hop into this incarnation, we choose to be a hybrid mother, we choose to get abducted, we choose to be a part of hybrid projects or different galactic agendas. That's a big part of some people's mission. And I know that for a lot of people, especially people who go to alien conferences, their whole life they've been abducted, and it feels very scary. And it feels scary because it feels like it's out of their control. And I'm not trying to negate the fact that there are many, many abductions that are fear-based, that are scary, that are actually not of the highest vibration or of love. And there are many abductions that are being done by low vibrational beings or the subspecies of gray that are really service to self, that aren't great. And some of these grays are indeed biological robots that are being controlled by reptilians. And I know it sounds like the craziest sci-fi movie you've ever heard of, but this shit is real. Like, it's actually happening, and it's a lot of information to shift through. It truly is. But the project that I'm talking about here is for our best and highest good. Now, even though I'm just talking about the Essassani or the half gray, half human hybrids, there are many, many other hybrids that are also being genetically created or engineered, or even like organically engineered, and coming to full term with a human, which is a whole other thing. And I'm sure I could write a whole book on how mothers deal with being a hybrid mother. I'm not even going to go there. Okay, it is within our planetary contracts to evolve to this next level. Once again, this was never meant to be the end-all to be-all. It is not a takeover. That's the other triggering part. People think that if half gray, half human hybrids were to come to planet Earth, it's a takeover. It's an alien takeover. And it's not. It's actually the complete opposite of that. It's a merging. It's a galactic graduation, right? Even though I talk to the Galactic Federation all the time and they help us with information and activations and DNA stuff, we, planet Earth, humanity, is still not a part of the Galactic Federation. Can you believe that? Planet Earth is not a part of the Galactic Federation because we can't even accept that UFOs are real, let alone that there's an organization of interdimensional beings here to help us. I mean, if we can't accept that there's more out there in the universe than just us, then we're not going to be joining the Galactic Federation anytime soon. That being said, fingers crossed, in our lifetime, we will be joining the Galactic Federation. Okay. And once again, that will be galactic graduation is what I call it. All right. Here is why it is so important to take this next evolutionary leap and be okay with inviting these half gray, half human hybrids here. Now, there's no, like, basically how it happens is, and it's a whole process because this has been going on for actually quite a long time. On board these ships, they have been merging human DNA with gray DNA for a very long time, and it took them a very, very long time for them to like get it right, to the point where, I've seen, I want to say we're on Gen 4 of these Essassani beings up there in the in the ethers, on these spaceships. Gen 4. So I've seen Gen 1, I've seen Gen 2, and I've seen Gen 3. I don't know too much about Gen 4 because that's quite recent. But Generation 1 of these half-human, half-gray hybrids, I mean, it didn't go so well. There was like patches. They really wanted to get the hair right, like human hair, for them to be a little bit more like friendly looking to us anyway, and like there'd be like patches of hair in like on like the shoulder, like in random places on their body, even like teeth and things like that. The digestive system was really difficult to like get a handle on. So anyway, it took them a really long time, at least until Generation 3, to kind of get the genetic balance right. And what's going to happen, okay, I just want to say, before I get to like what's going to happen when they do come, I want to say that us as human beings right here, or at least our biological form being human, we're not necessarily going to evolve in our human state to be half gray, okay? And what I mean by that is like, I'm not going to wake up one day and be taller, even though sometimes I do wish I was a little bit taller than like 5'0". We're not just going to wake up and all of a sudden have gray activations within us. They are literally being created on board these ships, and then they're going to be transported to planet Earth to help us out. So I believe that the first real contact we're going to get is from these Essassani beings. And they do look quite human, but for the most part, we're going to look at them and say, there's something not quite right about you. There has been other hybrids that have been intermingled within planet Earth, but they do look much more human, and it's not like they're about to say, hey, I'm an alien, and like put me on the 4 o'clock news. I really think that that level of contact with humanity is going to be with these Essassani beings. And like I said, this is going to be in our lifetime. This is going to be, by 2050, from what I've channeled and what I've heard from the GFL, that's when they're going to start to really incorporate themselves into our society, and they're really going to not just make contact, but be a part of our society. What this is going to do is it's going to eradicate disease. It's going to, our physical bodies will become more efficient. Our brain capacity will be a lot larger. Like our IQ is going to go up through the roof. And our treaties with the Galactic Federation will become public, right? And that's what I said about the galactic graduation. So back in 2011, they told me that in 30 years, disclosure would happen globally, and in 40 years, human hybrids would be walking around with us publicly, looking slightly like abnormal humans. And from what I know right now, we are on track with those timelines, okay? So, this might be a little bit shocking, or like I said, a little bit triggering for some of you, and I totally get it, because A, it could feel like an invasion. B, it could feel like, maybe we're like the old batch, Personally, I'm very excited for this. And I want to leave you with something. I want to leave you with a perspective that's going to really open your mind. And I also want to mention that I wanted to relay this information in this video because we need to start planting the seed of reality that this is possible, that this is not only possible, but that it's in the works of happening, and that it's actually going to really greatly advance us for the benefit of all of us. Okay? The whole point of the Galactic Federation is unification. It's not just white light, all light and love. It's about the unifying forces between polarity. It's really getting to that quantum level, right? Okay. So before I get to this last point that's really going to open your mind up, and for those of you who may feel a bit triggered by this, maybe ease your mind a little bit more. Before I get there, please, once again, be sure to like this video, share this video out there on your channels or other social media platforms. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you do want more information like this. And check out the Galactic Federation Summits monthly if you want to hear more from the Galactic Federation. Check out Instagram for more personal updates and daily downloads. And then definitely check out the Cosmic Society for deep dives and cosmic connections. Okay, so I want to leave you with this. This is kind of my go-to thought or mindset anytime I think about the next evolutionary leap within the human hybrid project. If extraterrestrials never stepped in, if they never intervened at all on planet Earth, we would still be Neanderthals living in caves trying to figure out fire. Think about that. So if you're like, I don't think that they should be fucking with us. I don't think that they should be abducting us. I don't think that they should be doing this. We would not be here on this platform utilizing the internet, utilizing very high IQs if they never intervened. We would literally still be trying to figure out fire at this point. Take a look at our evolution. Understand that they've been intervening this entire time, and ask yourself, if you don't want them to continue to help us out and move us along to this place of unity, galactic disclosure, and connection with pure source, and all access to every available tool in the universe, then go back to a cave. Truly. Because they've been doing this whole time. And for me, I'm grateful for it. I'm glad that we have the tools that we have, and I'm beyond excited to get even more tools in the future. And that being said, thank you all so much for being here. And just a word of wisdom. We are all galactic hybrids. We all have DNA that can be activated at any time. that can already eradicate diseases, that can already bring us to the next vibrational level, that can already bring us to a place of psychic abilities, of telepathy, of reverse aging. We can already do that. We have that within us. And all that it takes is raising your vibrational frequency. And the easiest way to raise your vibrational frequency, to activate that DNA, is through gratitude and appreciation. If you wake up every day and you ask yourself what you're grateful for today, you're raising your vibrational frequency, and essentially you're activating your dormant DNA, and you're bringing yourself to a level of infinite possibilities. Remember, you are the only one creating the reality around you. It's time. It's time to stop playing the victim and step into the role of becoming the creator. Thank you all so much, as always, for being here. Keep up the good work. I'm sending you so much love and appreciation. Bye for now.